thought you might want to see some of the rigs I'm using. Nothing complicated, very straightforward. It's my kind of standard approach to a lot of waters. Let's move this out of the way. Right, as I was telling you earlier, I tend to use at least 4.5 ounces of lead. These are 5s. I think if you use anything less than a 3.5 would be nothing to me, because if you do a test where you hang identical rigs on your finger with a 1.5 ounce lead, 2, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5 and a 6, you prick yourself on the lead, pick it up, you can shake it off your finger easily with all the small ones. You start getting to 4 ounces and it's getting more interesting. You can pick it up but you can't shake it out easy. 4.5 ounces and you're nailed. 5s, it drives it in past the barb. So if it's happening on your hand, I think it happens out in the lake with the fish. So that no matter how they suck and blow, if it's got in past the barb, if barb hooks are allowed, they're not going to get rid of it so easy. So that's important. I'm using the safety clips. I've got a nylon leader here, quite a heavy one, with the tungsten in it. I've got an anti-tangle sleeve, which I always use. I think that's quite important. You see some people using loops and rings, and I don't find it as effective. I'm using a coated hook length in 25, which is a standard sort of breaking strain I use, and long shank hook, size 6. If I need to go bigger, I will do. I'll go up to a 4, or if I need to go smaller with very small baits, I will do, down to an 8. I've got a shrink tube blowback. I don't use rings. I found that fish can spit them out and they can sit awkwardly if you use a ring, especially on a long shank. Not so bad with a short shank hook, but with a long one, I don't use the ring on it. I'm using a bait that's a wafter. This is basically a pH special that we've done in a dull yellow rather than a bright yellow. You know, you can use some of the very bright yellow ones that in fluoro, but these have been working especially good. So the minimum I'm going to use these rigs as well is 7 inches. I use them never less than 7 inches. I found anything less than that and you're getting aborted takes, because you need enough rope for the fish to hang themselves. So I found that that's the optimum length, and if it's weedy and silty, I'll go up to 2 feet or more. I'm never shy of using long hook lengths. Okay, on my next rod, nothing dramatically different from the other rod that I showed you. Very, very similar setup, because it just works. Got the anti-tangle tube again, 5 ounce lead. Coated hook length in 25. I've stripped the last inch back so there's a bit of a hinge movement. One thing that I think is very important is I've seen a lot of people describing using shrink tube, but they never go to the extra trouble of making it a liner. Jim Gibbinson style, he wrote about it in the late 80s, early 90s. So I've got a dark food bait that's been heavily soaked in L030 in this instance, which is a fish protein. Fish find it very attractive. This was a pop-up and I've soaked it for a year and it's become a wafter. So I've got the long shank on again, but as I was saying, the liner, it just creates that extra sort of grip effect when you put it across the palm of your hand. See how quick that gripped? And the liner accentuates that and makes it grip faster. That never even moved 1 millimetre then, and it's in the palm of my hand. A lot of people scoff at these palm tests, but it gives an indication of how quick the rig is going to grip in a fish's mouth before it'll slip out. Because at the end of the day, you're heavily reliant on the hook taking a hold, well, totally reliant. And it doesn't always work that they're banging against the lead. It's just them sucking it in and spitting it out the mouth is enough, and you don't know anything about it, you don't get any rod knocks, but if you can make it grip like that and it upsets them a little bit and then they shake their head and bang against a heavy lead, that's when it all starts the sequence going. So that's very important to me. The other thing is, don't be scared of sharpening your hooks. A lot of the chemically sharpened hooks, even though they feel brilliant, you can get one of them Jag hook sharpeners and get absolutely 20% more sharpness by retouching the hook, provided you know how to do it. So don't neglect that aspect. Right, on my other rod, my third rod, I started off using a chod rig, a short rig, and you know, it's very, very popular, these rigs nowadays. In fact, I've heard of some anglers just using it on all 3 rods all the time. I think that's a bit of a mistake. You know, it's very effective for big fish in the right circumstances, but I don't usually use it that much. I use it if I'm fishing over a lot of weed and I've got a delicate presentation that I want to do. I don't use the big leads always with it either. If I'm on a clear venue and I want to get the range, I'll use whatever lead I need to, and then I'll use a quick release system, which I haven't got on now, but if I need to fish in deep silt and lose the lead, I've got a different system than this. I'm using a 30-pound nylon hook length. Make sure it's all safe so it can pass over. I'm using quite a big hook, this is size 5. I'm using the little screw-in rings, which I find really good, especially for short sessions where you're getting lots of bites, so I can change the baits quickly, and it's very effective for, you know, just ringing the changes for different bait colours and smells. But don't fall into the trap of thinking this rig's the be-all of everything. It really is not. One thing I'd advise you to do as well though, if you like the chod rig, is to try particles on it. And that's like a tiger nut and an Enterprise plastic tiger nut with it. So you're using tigers on the chod, or the plastic sweet corn. They're very interesting and worth doing. Very neglected as well. So that's worth a quick look at. And there we are, it's just quite basic.